my Wellish best friends. Happy Friday. It's the best day of the entire week. We made it to the end of the week. I feel like I shouldn't celebrate that. I feel like we should enjoy every day, you know? You come to this self-improvement page and you feel like I should be uplifting you about every single day of the week, but no, fuck that. It's Friday. Thank God we made it to the end of the week. Today, I want to talk to you guys about this month's theme because I am so excited about it. When I pulled up my calendar that I made all the way almost a year ago now of everything that I was going to be talking about this year, and I pulled up that this month was magnetism and confidence, I audibly was like, fuck yeah, dude. I love this topic. I first stumbled upon magnetism around this time last year when I was, unwell and very mentally going through it. And I turned to it because of the hope that I felt like it could give me. And I spent an entire month almost investigating, researching, out in the field experimenting how to be more magnetic, because I think a lot of the time magnetism is like told to us on this very grand scale when really I brought it down to a very small scale and saw that it really does work. If you want to magnetize bigger things, that takes more time and more energy. If you think about literally like a magnet, you can't use a tiny little magnet of today to attract this big huge dream. You have to make your magnet stronger and able to withstand that big honkin' dream. But within that 30-day period, when I was just trying to attract things with my tiny little magnet, like making the server give me the first glass of wine at the restaurant to do the little taste on compared to the other people I was with, or attracting the right apartment for me, it really did work. But my confession is that I'm honestly tired of trying so hard to get everything that I want. I think that I have spent so much of my life trying to become somebody that is impossible to reject, that I was using magnetism as an avenue to make myself less rejectable. And I can't help but think about how much energy I've spent trying to control how people perceive me. So this month, I want to give what's meant for me the chance to come towards me when I stop chasing everything so fucking hard. If anything in this episode resonates with you, please make sure to rate and review the show. It really does help get episodes out to more like-minded individuals like you and I who need to live a little bit more wellishly. And if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the show if you're somebody that loves self-improvement but doesn't love the self-rejection that comes with so much of it. The Wellish community is truly here to make you feel good without you needing to be perfect first. So many of us do this, and it just sounds so beautiful and fun to think about magnetism and confidence in this way. But like, I really used to think that being magnetic or confident was this walk on water, never make mistakes, glorious version of yourself. And that's just simply not what it is. But I really did believe that if I was prettier, or I smelled better, or my clothes were better, or I was going more places and doing more things, that that would lead to me being this better, more magnetic, more confident version of myself. That I could do this like mysterious mystique thing with men, that like if you hit me up, I won't answer for a few hours so that you don't think that I'm like easy and available for you. I pictured this person to be the person that walks into the room and everyone's like, "Oh my God, who's she? Look at that sexy motherfucker that just walked in the room and just caused all of this eye-drawing attention to her." She walks down the street and notices everybody looking at her as she walks by, but she doesn't glance anyway at anybody else because you have this whole pretending not to care vibe. But in reality, you care very much so because you're hyper analyzing everybody's reaction to you. Is the magnetism working? Is the confidence paying off? Am I giving the vibe that I want to give? And I just think that's why magnetism and confidence felt so important to talk about this month, because I just really want to make it clear, because I wish someone had made it clear to me that being confident and magnetic was not this walk on water version. I'm really sick of this definition of confidence, or people teaching us how to be confident from this place of doing enough so that other people approve of you. They like you, they admire you, they want to hire you, they want to follow you, they want to buy whatever it is you're selling, they want to date you, they want to be your friend. But it all comes back to like you having to do the right things in order to elicit that response from other people. And I don't love that. I really want to push the definition of confidence being imperfect and getting emotional or being awkward sometimes. And at the end of the day, you still have your own back. even when you feel bad about something, or even when you're uncertain, or even when things didn't go exactly the way you wanted them to go, or you didn't show up exactly how you wanted to show up, or you didn't say the thing that, oh, you wish you said, that at the end of the day, you still know who you are, and you know why you did the thing that you did, and you have your own back, that nothing else that anybody does or says could shake your perception of yourself. Because to me, that just sounds like so much more of a calm way to approach confidence. I just feel like the confidence that we're all trying to quote unquote achieve feels so anxiety ridden. It feels so like you're trying to do the right thing all of the time. Quite honestly, I'm pretty over that because it looks so great from the outside, right? Like the idea of that walk on water person, this perfect version of you, is so easy to picture because we see it in other people, but you don't know what's going on inside of that person's head or how they really feel. It's just your perception of them in a snapshot of their entire life. I mean, even the people that are closest to you, you only know like a very small percentage of their entire life. That person that you saw walking confidently down the street in the really cool outfit and it made you think that you wished you were better at styling yourself, you only saw her literally in that moment. You don't know what she does when she goes home and lays in bed at night. So when you're constantly comparing is essentially what you're doing, and chasing this ideal that has been shoved down our throats and we think just looks so incredible and what magnetism and confidence should really be, that we've seen on social media or wherever else, it makes us more anxious and not what we're trying to achieve than anything else. It's the whole idea of not entering into situations and asking yourself, what can you do to make people like you or make people choose you or be better? And instead being more outward focused and saying, what do I think of them? How do I like this situation? I really notice that when I do this and I stop focusing so intensely on if I'm saying or doing the right thing, it makes my experience so much better. And I don't feel so full of regret or discomfort with how I showed up in the situation, if I am listening with my full attention to what my friend is saying, or I am paying attention to the world around me, and I'm not so focused on if I'm doing, saying, or moving correctly, it really makes a big difference. So, what I'm really trying to focus on, because what I feel like I'm really starting to realize is that being more magnetic and being more confident isn't about becoming more irresistible. It's about abandoning yourself less. It's about not just doing whatever anybody else wants to do to be likable and to be as solid in yourself as you possibly can be. I feel like some things that I find myself in that chasing energy the most are, let's start with friendships. I know I definitely am still guilty of that I will be very, very hyper focused inward, like I was talking about a little bit ago, that I want to make sure I am doing and saying the right thing. Like it's like this weird civil war happens that I'm hyper focused on what they're saying because I know I need to be listening actively, but at the same time, so still trying to figure out what to say next. And it's annoying to say that out loud because I know not to do that. Like, and in the moment I know not to do that. I try to make sure that I'm actively listening, but I still, like, in the back of my brain I can hear my inner voice trying to come up with the right response, what would be good to say. Or if I don't know, I beat myself up. I feel this tension that sits on my chest because I feel like I'm making the conversation boring. I'm not entertaining enough. I'm not contributing enough, and so they think that I'm not interested. I Why am I not the one to ever carry on the conversation? How do they do that? How are they so conversational that they can just say whatever? I need to say more. I need to do something different here. And I find myself kind of in that frantic chasing space to do whatever I can to be almost, like I said, entertaining and in the conversation so that the person wants to be my friend and conversate with me. And I am trying to get out of that energy really, really bad because I mean, I just don't love it. And like I said, when I focus on them, it's a lot better. And what always happens is when we get into the flow of conversation, that's not a problem. But maybe the conversation just isn't flowing in that moment. And like, that's okay. Like, it doesn't always have to be this like fucking great magical thing that's happening all of the time in order for somebody to want to be your friend. I know I used to carry this energy like hard fucking core in relationships. I want to say I don't really do it now, but that could also be a lot of, my trauma coming up to the surface here because I don't even want to acknowledge any areas that I haven't grown because I've done so much growth and I'm so terrified of not having done growth that bad things are going to happen to me again. But I do genuinely feel like I've learned a lot and have gotten a lot better at this in relationships. But I will say I get a little chasey, a little anxious when things are not the same as my old negative patterns. Like when I have to get used to the healthy relationship pattern, it feels uncomfortable and different than anything else that I've ever experienced. And so I interpret it as something being wrong and it makes me anxious and I don't like it. So, for example, I'm used to people not communicating, but painting this picture as if they're communicating. Like it always seemed like they were communicating in the relationship. I don't know. I can't even get into like the nitty-gritty of that right now because I just don't have the energy for it. But I really did believe that they were communicating with me. And I realized all of those people had built up resentment towards me essentially and that I didn't realize things that they were thinking about me or even let me give some grace and say ways that I was bulldozing over their opinion because I couldn't even hear what anything negative about me because I think the balance of alignment was so off like they so weren't in alignment with me that I wasn't even like willing to listen to their feedback at all because I just was like, "Pff, whatever, yeah, you don't know," which is so fucked up. But I mean, that really is the truth. That now I feel like I'm always waiting for the resentment to set in, or I feel like if he's not telling me something negative or picking something out about me or having complaints or there's no problems that something's wrong and he's not being honest, like that there's got to be a problem somewhere. He's not being honest with me. So I feel myself getting chasey like in that situation for sure that I feel like is everything okay? What should I do? Can I do something better? And instead of just like letting things be good and be okay and riding that wave. I used to be really chasey in my last relationship with my ex's family because I really wanted them to see that we were quote unquote meant to be together because there was just so much stigma and issues and turmoil and all of this stuff that I really wanted them to bear witness to the fact that we were meant to be together and to validate that fantasy that I had created in my head. And um obviously that's an issue, but it's definitely one that I wouldn't have admitted to myself in the relationship. Like I know I knew that I was trying to prove to everybody that thing and being like chasey about that, proving that we were meant to be, but you know, just I just chalked it up to other people's bad behavior. I didn't take any responsibility for why that could be a thing. Another area I'm totally guilty of doing this is, of course, the podcast and social media. It's definitely an area that you're putting yourself out there in front of others to perceive and judge you, which is truly one of my biggest core fears is fear of perception. So it's something that I do get pretty chasey about because I feel like I want people to like me. I want people to validate me. And that goes back to old friendship wounds and shit like that that makes me feel that way that I almost am using social media as a gateway to get validation and prove that I am good enough because my analytics look a certain way. And it's been really interesting to dial that back and not be so hyper fixated on the performance and the aesthetic of my content but trying to build Wellish as a business instead and look at it from that angle and not look at it from an angle of I want to do this because I want to prove to myself that I can create something and do something really great or I want to do this because I want to make a lot of money but instead do it because I genuinely want to help other people not feel like there's something wrong with them if they want to improve themselves. I remember when I was in the thick of my grief, I remember actively feeling like I loved self-improvement so much, but I couldn't always be in those spaces listening to the things because it always inevitably left me feeling like there was something wrong with me. And I don't want that. I don't want that for people. I want you to, I think it's growth and development and healing is one of the most important things that we can do, especially with the amount of fucking freaks that are out there that have no awareness and are not doing anything to grow or heal. I want to promote self improvement as much as possible. But for the people that are improving, I don't want anybody to feel like there's anything wrong with who they are now because you're not able to enjoy your life or actually reap the benefits of the self improvement when you're living like that. So, being able to approach from that perspective really allows me to take a step back, not be so chasey, and allow the right people that resonate with that to meet me in the middle, essentially. But it's finding that deep why, not just the things that it would be nice to do and it would be cool to accomplish or whatever that are actually going to allow you to build a mutual connection with the thing that you want. So obviously I still want things, I'm not this like detached woodland creature that doesn't want all of the things in life. I still want things. Like don't get it twisted. I want the things, okay? But I don't need to pursue things in a way that every single outcome means something about who I am. That's why I really want to challenge the internet's definition of magnetism because I really feel like it is packaged and presented to us as this person that's indifferent, that they're mysterious and cool and they don't care and they are not worried about anybody else, don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, just sitting around waiting for the universe to deliver whatever glorious thing is going to happen for you because you know that it's going to happen and you just have to manifest from this place that you know you'll already have it so you can just sit there and wait for it. Or that you're manipulating people into chasing you, which sounds aggressive, but manipulation is doing things to make people like you. So like you're manipulating people's perception of reality by behaving in a certain way to make them like you or think a certain way of you. Even when like you post online and you're trying to post the hottest picture in the whole world because you want people to think you're hot, you're manipulating people into chasing you. Again, sounds aggressive, but like take the weight that comes with the word manipulation off of it, and like that is what's happening. There's evil manipulation and there is ignorant manipulation, and I think a lot of us, myself included, do fall for the ignorant manipulation. You don't realize that you're manipulating, but you are. Or something I'm really bad at is I will avoid something and I will consider it detachment, or I will think that I am being low maintenance and cool. And really, I just like am not having standards. When in reality, being magnetic requires you to have preferences because you have to know what you want in order to get what you want. You've got to put yourself in the scenarios that you can get that thing and admit out loud to yourself, even and to others, but like literally to yourself, because sometimes we don't even want to do that. Like we think that if we admit that we want a certain thing, that that means something about us, or that if we want a certain thing and we don't get it, that that means something about us, or if we want something and we don't get it, that that will contribute to an already existent wound that we have, and then we'll have to deal with the repercussions of that, and that doesn't feel good. Another thing that's pretty fucking magnetic is letting people show you how interested they are, but hi, terrifying, because especially if you are, in this like chasing mentality, it's going to take a lot for you to wean your way out of that and open yourself up. Like that's vulnerable. Open yourself up to people perceiving you, people choosing to not like you. And if you're letting that happen instead of trying to make them understand you or trying to do the things to make them like you, that's that's not fun. Like, that's terrifying. But, like, that's the kind of shit we do, Like, you sit there and you over explain because if you over explain, they'll understand. And if they just understood, then they would understand you and they would like you and they would get why you did that thing. And suddenly it's like you're over explaining to the point that you're over explaining your value, that you didn't mean this certain thing that you did and they should see that. But instead, to be more magnetic, what you would do is you take the action and not beg the outcome to validate you. But again, it's like we think that the only way that we'll reach that outcome is if we receive it, because that will validate that what we were doing was worth it or what we did was good enough. And that is how we got the outcome. That's how we got to the outcome. Or allowing yourself to be seen without managing everybody's reaction to you, that you can put yourself out there and be yourself and be confident that you are showing up in the way that you want to show up. And if other people don't receive that well, that's not your problem and has nothing to do with you. Which another really scary thing that happens when you are more magnetic is that it makes your personality so specific that only certain people, like very few people, will actually be in alignment with you. And that's how you get really fucking awesome people that are really in alignment with you in your life, and not all of these different people, which we're made to believe that having all of the people is actually what makes us more magnetic and more confident that we're going to have these hordes of people in our lives. But that if you are so specific with your personality, only true, genuine alignments are going to be in your circle. Because if you're so specific, there's not going to be a ton of people that connect with that specific of a personality. When you appeal to the masses, you appeal to the masses. But when you're specific, it's going to attract specific people. Which, saying that, I mean, me, myself, and I can picture anybody else thinking, like, but I want to appeal to the masses. Like, that would make me feel really good. But it's being able to know that rejection doesn't mean anything about who you are. It can hurt. Like, it sucks when you're fucking rejected, but it doesn't have to turn into this identity crisis. But obviously, if you haven't noticed already, there's this huge connection between magnetism and self trust. It's not like being magnetic is ignoring texts and whispering affirmations over a glass of moon water, even though you definitely could fucking do that because that's fun and cool. And I don't know, it kind of works sometimes, I think. But I just mean to say that it's self trust more than literally anything else, because you can make the wrong decision and then trust yourself to figure it out. And I mean, look right there, that's confidence. And it's magnetism because you're moving in the right direction instead of the wrong one. And you're moving in that direction because you were brave enough to make a choice and move towards it, be told that that wasn't right, and now are shifting into a different direction. Like, that's magnetism. And if you're uncomfortable to the point that you realize that you've made the wrong choice, you're allowed to change your mind because you trust your intuition and your ability to know what is right for you, and that it doesn't mean anything about you if you were to change your mind. Or maybe you pursue something and it doesn't choose you back, but you know that the right things will be easy and the right things will show up for you, and that it won't require you to chase and do all of this heavy lifting. I always felt like I needed all of this proof that everything will work out, but at the end of the day, you just need to know that you'll have your own back through it. I literally just talked about this in therapy. I just used to say that I felt that it was hard for me to do anything freelance because I said that I felt in my heart that I wanted to work for somebody else. But even saying that out loud, I know my true heart. No, I don't want to do that. But I thought that because working for somebody else means meeting certain metrics that they will tell me, good job, I did good enough. That it's somebody else telling me what to do, and that's the validation that I need in order to move through things, instead of having to validate myself that I'm moving in the right direction and doing the right things. I just used to really feel that confidence was that I would one day figure everything out and I wouldn't get anything wrong ever again. Everything would work out and make sense, when in reality, not everything works out. And I'm not going to get everything right all of the time, but I trust myself to move in the direction that I need to move. I trust myself to handle those situations when they come up, and that in itself is confidence. I can't keep using the screw ups as an excuse to turn against myself. I thought I could end the episode with a fun little rapid fire confessions to you from me about magnetism and confidence. I've got 10 for you, so strap in. The least magnetic thing I do, I would say is constantly being too hard on myself, like, definitely thinking that I need to do better and strive to be more, and if I worked harder, that I would get the result that I wanted, and kind of getting this, like, incessant freak out OCD rumination cycle, and then when I don't do anything to satiate that, I just start beating myself up and making myself feel incapable, so, that's not super magnetic. I know I am chasing when I'm stuck in that rumination. Like when I am not allowing myself to take breaks, I almost feel like I can feel it physically in my head and on my chest, like that I'm in this like go, 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 go mode. I'm super busy that I can't even answer text messages. That is when I know that I need to take a couple steps back. Something I pretend not to care about that I still very much do is people's perception of me online. I get very nervous about posting and how I'm posting and what I look like and if people are going to like what I'm putting out there and if I'm doing all of the right things to get the most traction on my posts and why things aren't being looked at enough and aren't catching the right attention enough. I definitely like kind of get into psycho mode about that, even though I tell myself that I don't care and I'm just gonna, do what I want to do and I'm just gonna operate how I want to operate. It's like still this voice in the back of my head. The most embarrassing way that I have tried to seem confident is acting like I don't care about something or being more avoidant than anything else. And kind of having this, like, shitty attitude, like, that I'm, like, so triggered that I just, like, try to shut it down. "Oh, yeah, no, no, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care." Like, and, like but it's, like, very obvious that I'm elevated. It's just, like, not cute. A person, opportunity, or outcome I gave way too much power to would be my friendships growing up. Like, those friendship wounds that I have that I feel like I definitely allowed them to define my likability and my enoughness more than anything else. One area where I'm finally becoming the chooser is the people that I keep in my life. My circle has gotten very small because I am not interacting with people that aren't in alignment with me anymore, and it's uncomfortable, and I feel guilty and icky about it because sometimes it makes me pick between two of my values in order to do that, and it just sucks to lose people, and that doesn't feel fun or good, and you wonder what their perception of you is and all of that stuff, but, I mean, it feels better. I like my life a lot more not having to deal with it. Something I'm no longer auditioning for is my credibility to post on the internet. I feel like I needed to justify the reason why I wanted to post on there. So I was doing specific things that were like business venture like instead of just posting my life for fun because it seemed like that made it for a purpose and that it wasn't just me showing my personality. So I am a lot better at just posting because I feel like it and I think it's fun and I like making videos and I'm putting myself out there. I feel like the same thing for recording, like with people in my life, like letting, or even not in my life, just out in public, people that see me out in the world recording. I am not, putting so much energy towards worrying about what they would think of that. My current confidence delusion is that this will be my full-time career. I will make Wellish a media brand and it will become my full-time career. I don't care. I will make it happen. The version of me I keep thinking I need to become is the Instagram person. Like I think I need to be that like walk on water, pretty it's like some type of personality that I literally can't put my finger on, but I just know I don't have it. And I keep thinking that I need to be that in order to be successful. The most magnetic thing about me that I tend to overlook is my banging ass personality. I won't fucking lie. I'm pretty cool, right? I am supportive and kind and funny and easygoing and just don't care about a lot of things. I love adventure, but I also love stability. And, can be type B and chaotic, but I can also be organized and make sure that things are done the way that they're supposed to be done and get things done. And can be a hard worker and be ambitious. I just feel like I am very much a melting pot of those things and can enjoy my life in a multitude of ways and like that about the way that I operate in the world. Like I'm not pigeonholed into one specific way. I want to get you hyped about what's coming up for this month, so make sure to keep an eye out. We're going to be talking about the difference between pursuing something and proving yourself, why chasing creates anxiety, auditioning for love, friendship, opportunities, and approval, learning how to be the chooser instead of obsessing over being chosen, the difference between magnetism and performance, building confidence before the external proof arrives, what it looks like to have your own back, letting people come toward you, rejection without self rejection, whether detachment is healthy or you're actually just being a little bit of an avoidant queen, and how to want more for yourself and for your life without treating your current self like a placeholder for your better life. For August, I really want to focus on noticing when I am being the chaser, when I'm over explaining or justifying or convincing, performing, over pursuing, forcing something, and actually trying to notice, take a step back, and ask myself, what I would do if I had my own back in the situation, if I wasn't going to self abandon in order to get to the result that I wanted. So, if you want to do that with me, I think the easiest way to do it is to pick one thing, a person, opportunity, a friendship, a body, a timeline, whatever it is that you feel like you are hyper chasing, choosing that and noticing every time you get into that chasing mentality and try to shift it a little bit. Try not to chase this like image of what you think your life is supposed to look like, essentially, so that you can actually start to enjoy what your life looks like now. That's the goal. Okay. Remember when I said these used to be shorts? Yeah, they're full blown episodes now. So, hi, welcome. I'm so glad that we have that for us. If anything resonated with you, make sure to share it with a friend. If you think that they could benefit from magnetism or confidence or thinking that they are approaching it from the wrong way, obviously something resonated with you, which is why you're still here. So, share the love, duh, and send it to a friend so you guys can do it together. Accountability buddies. How fun is that? And if you want to leave whatever it is you are going to try to focus on this month to be less chasey about, comment it below. Maybe you're going to give someone else an idea for what they can focus on as well. Something maybe they never even thought of. You don't even realize the ways that you could change someone's life literally just from a single comment. Think about how that's ever happened for you. I love you endlessly. I hope you have an incredible weekend that is safe, aligned, and full of magnetism. And I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye, guys.